Our conversation with Carlos Young is almost indescribable. Although we sat down with him one-on-one on camera, the energy that you're gonna feel from him comes from his family. This is a family business. The family was literally in the room, but you can't not be inspired by the energy and the enthusiasm that this family brings to their business. Pay attention to when Carlos says, "Each one teach one." All right, so we're here in Newport News on a summer afternoon, and we're talking with Carlos Young Jr. Normally, I would introduce your company, but I want to hear you say your company's name, and I'll tell you why when we start talking about it.
The name of our company is Faithful Cleaning, Blasting and Coatings Incorporated. It's a family-owned business. The name Faithful, my parents, they started that name early 2000. They started a janitorial company, and we out of Mobile, Alabama. And my mama, my daddy, both of them come up, pretty much rough side on both sides, and they wanted more. My dad was working a 9 to 5. My mother, she raised 6 of us, 5 boys and 1 girl. And so, they always had a second hustle, and they wanted to do something else, outside of, I will say, the 9 to 5. But what they did, my mama always speak on using your hands. Use your brain, but then use your hands. Your hands, without your hands, you're limited what you can do. So they wanted to jump to the janitorial world, and they was trying to figure out a name, something that'll stick out. And I remember walking in, after probably football practice, my mama came in, and she when I walked in, she was teary-eyed, because at the time it was pretty rough, and I remember she wiping her face and everything, and she said, "I got a name." She told my daddy, "Faithful Cleaning," and my daddy said, "That's it." And they went down to City Hall, did everything they needed to do to start the company, and it was Faithful Cleaning Janitorial Service, and that's when it was born.
Why faithful? That word means something, right? It's got to be powerful. It meant something to your family because you spent a lot of time thinking about it, and you've kept it.
Faithful, that word, if you have something tied to the word faithful, that's to death do your part. That can be in your everyday commitment of work. I'd rather be, if I'm working, for any company, when they say, what type of worker is Carlos Young? He's a faithful worker. Faithful worker don't necessarily have to be the best worker, but from my point of view, I believe faithful is somebody you can count on. That's somebody that's gonna be there on time, they're gonna deliver every time. It may not be the best job you ever seen, but that they faithfulness tied to that company, it's gonna be exactly what that company needs. Not, it's not gonna be the person that's gonna, go overboard but they're gonna produce every time on a consistent basis.
You're not from this area originally. Your family's not from here.
No, sir.
So you're running the business now, but you're taking the name of the company and the incorporation of the company from where you grew up in Alabama, and you brought it up here to Virginia.
Yes, sir.
What brought you up here?
I first came down in 2017. We worked, I started at a shipyard called Ulster, USA. It's in Mobile, Alabama. That's the first shipyard I started at. And my brother, he and I came in first, and then I have a brother, Cortez, he's been side by side with me all my life. Out of all my brothers, he's the one closest to me in age, right up under me. We worked at Ulster, and we was talking to a lot of contractors in and out, and they was speaking on, traveling, this and that, and so we was just looking for other opportunities as well. And so what happened in 2017 ended up just taking a leap of faith, coming down, just wanted to see what the travel world looked like, and got down, told my family and everybody we made it. Well, I made it. Then I called my brother. I said, "Yeah." I said, "This a move right here, man. It's different, different atmosphere, military around here, and I just said it's a lot of opportunity down here, and it went from there. My brother, he came, then it went from that, my other brothers, and then my daddy came, and he looked at like, yeah, it's a lot of opportunity around here.
Were you working for yourself when you moved up here?
No, sir. I came into the shipyard, Hunter Ingalls, and from there, we was selling cars, on the side, for hustles. I started cutting hair in the barbershop, just anything, to make a legal buck. So, and it went from there to, my dad was like, hey, man, look, everything y'all doing in the shipyard, let's do it for ourselves. And he took retirement money, and they went and paid for insurance and everything. And COVID hit, the whole market just ceased. I probably emailed everybody in the business within the whole, in this region, in the 7 cities, and I got an email back from a company that was like, hey, do y'all have insurance? And so, at that point, it felt like we just landed a $100 million contract and numbers wasn't even discussed yet. And so, everybody was praying, my mother on her knees day and night, because at this point, everybody walked off from the job, so it was just strictly off of faith. And got an email, he set us up, he said, come in for an interview to talk, about your company. And he asked us, like, what experience do y'all have? And the only thing we had was our name from how we were in the shipyard. And tying back to that word faithful, all the guys he knew, and we found out real quick the industry is small, because he could pick up the phone and call one person who knew, every supervisor we done worked for with the different companies we worked for. And first thing, oh, that guy, oh yeah, he gonna come to work on time, he's gonna produce, he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. So, okay. And then so he said, how do y'all come up with the name Faithful Cleaning? And we tied everything together. He's like, okay, I have an opportunity for you, and we never looked back.
Man, there is so much in that story. Normally, it seems like you would expect kids to follow their parents into business. Your story's flipped, right? So you were working in Austin, on a big shipyard in Alabama, good, successful company in the same line of work as a lot of stuff up here. But you and your brothers moved up here, working for other people, told your parents that you saw this opportunity up here, and they had faith in you enough to take their hard-earned money out of their retirement and say, we're going to invest in our kids to start a company in a state where we don't even live. Do I get that? Is that kind of how that went?
Yes, sir.
That's not how most of these stories go. So that's why I asked you to lead with talking about the name of your company, because there's a lot of faith there. There's faith in you. There's an awful lot of trust that the business idea that you have is going to work. And that faith had to be tested around that COVID time.
Yes, sir. Definitely was. Yes, sir. I mean, well, I got to get honor to God. My parents, like I say, my mom and daddy, they raised us up, hands up, shake hands, you stand up, look a man in the eye, yes sir, no sir, and keep God first and everything. I don't know everybody's faith, but I know what I seen personally, and when still to this day, on how anything when times get rough, even when times great, we celebrate, but we got to thank God first, because we believe, just like I say, just actions speak louder than words. If you have an individual out here that don't have a faith or just don't believe, but then, for example, we can't see air, but we know it's oxygen, and I just remember my mother and father praying for situations, and not everything didn't come to pass for them, but the things that what I've seen, it's like something that I can't really explain. It's just I don't have no why not take a chance and just believe.
That's the very definition of faith, right? Believing in something that you can't see, that you can't hold yet. But that had to be that faith. That how many phone calls do you think you made before you got that first contract?
I'm not even exaggerating if I say probably 2,000. I'm not even exaggerating.
You think you made 2,000 phone calls?
I called from Virginia to past DC, New York. I called all over the country.
So 2,000 phone calls before you got one phone call and somebody said, are you ready to work? You got insurance.
2,500 calls before I got an email. I didn't even get a phone call. It was an email.
That's a test of faith.
Yes, sir.
explain for us what's involved in your company, because you're doing multiple things.
Yes, sir.
And your name says cleaning and blasting. Expand on that a little bit.
Everything combined together, faithful cleaning, blasting, and coatings. We blast, we sandblast, any type of ship, DDGs, LSVs, barges.
And in this area, it's primarily for the Navy.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing work for the Army, for their watercraft as well?
Army, Navy, any part of government, any type of government job, commercial.
So you talked about some of the different types of ships, DDGs, destroyers,
Yes, sir.
LSVs or landing craft, amphibious ships, aircraft carriers. You're working on
Submarines. Yes,
you're
sir.
working on submarines.
Yes, sir.
So that tells me that you're working in all the yards. You're working in the private yards.
Yes, sir.
And you're working in the government yards as well. Is that right?
As well. Yes, sir.
So that's a big deal to get established, to prove that you're capable of working there, to do all that administrative back work. That's a lot.
Yes, sir.
And that's hard to get all of that stuff.
Yes, sir.
How did you get there? Because you didn't just come up here and decide you're going to go work in Huntington Ingalls or in Norfolk Naval Shipyard, right?
Again, going back to can't take no for an answer. When we interview for, at the time first starting off, when we talk to these different companies for work, of course, we pretty much have to do a job pennies on a dollar, just to show, all we need is opportunity. The work gonna speak for itself. We don't have to come in and do a whole bunch of hoorah. When we come in, we say, look, we're a fairly new company, but that name faithful, we stick by that word, even if I can't even tell you how many jobs we done ran, man, over budget, where we digging deep in the pockets. When I say deep, we digging in our sock. Parents, when I say parents, man, the stuff they had to do, like I say, and still to this day we still have to do, because if a company, if they give you an opportunity to do a job, we don't get paid to the end of the job. And by us being not from this area, we still to this point, it's a lot in this business we don't know. And we never had, on the consulting side, Mr. Charles Bennett, he have Atlantic Labor Solutions. He has been tremendous help to our company, teaching us and telling us stuff about, how the business go.
So
and,
Charles Bennett is a mentor to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Teaching you stuff about the business you don't know, and is he the guy that's helping fill in the gaps and the capabilities that you don't have, like to get the clearance to work in the shipyard and do all that paperwork?
Yes, sir. So how he came about, Mr. Charles, my brother actually, like I said, we always, we don't want to stay stagnant. So we always looking for other opportunities. And my brother and I was in the shipyard. He called me, was like, hey man, I heard a guy we were talking about an opportunity in Miami. And I'm like, okay, well, and again, that word faith, it's been stuck in our house since childhood. And so we have a relationship with each other where if it's something where if any of us call, mama, daddy, brother, sister, or we call each other and somebody call and we need something, it's done. It ain't a lot of questions, going back and forth. And that's just the relationship that we have. And some people say it's bad, some people say it's good. It just go either way.
So you're up here working in the shipyard doing sandblasting.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Bennett tells you there's an opportunity in Miami to do what?
No, it wasn't even Mr. Bennett. It was an employee of his. And my brother got the information from him, and he called and ended up talking to Mr. Charles. And Mr. Charles explained to him, it was disaster cleanup work. So my brother and I, was like, okay, we interested.
Disaster cleanup work?
Disaster cleanup work.
That's not what you're doing.
Exactly, but again, we open to any and everything. And so my brother and I, we flew back to Alabama. We bought trucks and dump trailers, drove down Florida. Again, on a hope and a wish, just believing in the opportunity, having faith, and drove down there. And I think the truck I bought broke down in the middle of driving. I was in Florida, broke down in Pensacola, came back home. My daddy ended up giving me his truck. We had the smallest truck. Everybody had 3500s, 4500s, 5500s. We got a 1500. And everybody looking.
A Ram 1500?
Chevy 1500.
Chevy 1500.
Yes, sir. It was my daddy's work truck.
That's kind of a light duty regular pickup truck.
Light as paper. But my mama, before that truck went, my mama put some blessed oil on it, prayed over it, and sent it to Florida, and said, in the name of the Lord Jesus, that truck gonna work. It's gonna everything gonna work out. These guys went on the lot, spent $70,000, $80,000, bought trucks, and but Mr. Charles, like, okay, hey, y'all down here, y'all, hey, here go the contract. This is going on, and explained to us. Guys laughing and stuff. We don't care. We look at it like, man, we in Miami. It's an opportunity for us. So we started building our walls, and my daddy gave us some of his tools and stuff. And them guys got these beautiful trucks, trailers and stuff. And we got pretty much used stuff, and the first day of work, first time we driving, my brother and I, we went, stuff my parents taught us, we went and bought sandwich meat and everything. So we in the truck, I bought a little $5 cooler from Goodwill, Gatorade bottle, and put some ice in it. So we taking turns driving. Neither one of us could drive a trailer for real. We just doing, I'm on YouTube, bro, man, turn this way, man, do this, do that. And so we kind of
Is that
argued.
the first time you learned to back up a trailer?
Everything was literally all at once. And so
That's exciting. When I drive a trailer, it's just me making my own mistakes. If I can't imagine me being in the truck with my brother, neither one of us knowing how to back up a trailer and trying to tell the other one that they're doing it wrong.
Well, again, we all listen to each other, but the thing about it, we took that leap of faith to win. And Miami, we couldn't call home and say, hey, Daddy, we failed. Because my daddy, he old school, he tough. And it's not that he was going to discredit or discourage us. We just wanted to do something, to keep going and make our parents proud, saying our sons, they trying, they doing this, and they support us. Like I said, we out there with thousands of contractors. We the least experienced, and we drive, we're like, man, that's one of them trucks. We see one on the road, broke down. Driving, we get over there, we get inside the dump site, we see that's another truck. We pull over, hey man, you all right? Our little light duty truck, we'll hook them up, we pull them out the mud. Next thing you know,
You helped your competitors that were stuck to get unstuck and help get them back to work.
most definitely did, yes sir.
With your light as paper duty truck, as you put it.
We went in with the light duty truck. When we left Miami, all of those guys that laughed, shook our hand. We still in contact to this day. We laugh about it to this day, all of us. And Mr. Charles, he know that story better than anybody, because he looked at it when he was paying on payday. He paying everybody. Okay, here go your check, here go your check, here go your check. And he looking at me and my brother. We don't even know what we made. He looking at us like, let me pull y'all to the side. He showed us. So we looking at the check like, we never seen a check like that before. So he's like, man, y'all brought the smallest truck, smallest trailer, and y'all made more money than all these guys who've been doing this for years. So we, at this point, we can't even fathom how big that was to him. We didn't care. We looking at it like, we in Miami. We in Miami. The opportunity of just being in Miami, period. We talked about that for years. And he looking at it as, these young men right here took a leap of faith, came out here off a hope and a dream, because I just talked to him on the phone. We didn't sign no contract. We didn't sign nothing prior to getting there. And the other guys, they out there doing, he been dealing with them for years, so he know them. And of course, everybody talk amongst themselves, because they was the clique. Me and my brother just sitting there looking, But ever since then, we kept a connection with him. And we came back to Virginia. We started working for his company. And, he looked at our attendance. Oh, these guys come to work. Oh, these guys work. These guys work all the overtime that's available. And from there, we came, and sat down. And it, after we got everything established with the company, and was like, we started, we want to branch off and start, our company. And he was supportive. Like, man, that's a great idea. If y'all need any help, y'all need anything, come talk to me. And
hang on a second here. So first, what was the work you were doing in Miami? What opportunity did you go chase, sight unseen, no contract in hand? You just decided to make I guess it was a big investment, right? To go and do this. But what was the work that you were doing down there?
Disaster cleanup was when the storms, hurricane in the South. We have what you have called hurricane season. Everything. It happens every year. So trees, debris all over the state, in Dade County. And what they do, they give you grids. Let's say if you're the primary contractor, you would find other subs and you would sub them and pay them, you know, according to the grid of cleaning up that area. You take them to dump sites. So we bought gloves, rubber boots from Walmart, and we was just standing in mud, probably knee-high, snakes, rats, and everything, just jumping across our lap. We just, again, we happy we in Miami, so it didn't faze us. We just wanted to make
happy
money.
in Miami, in knee-deep mud with rats and snakes running around. You're happy about that?
Yes, with a two-wheel drive truck. We got stuck every 5 minutes, but we were too scared to call home to tell our parents. And we out here, I'm out here thinking I'm Incredible Hulk trying to push the truck out.
Some of these conversations we've had about the maritime industry here, at least in this region, people have talked about having a handshake deal. What you just described wasn't even a handshake deal. You made a phone call to somebody that said, we're willing to come to work and show up, and somebody hired you on the spot, never having met you, and agreed to pay you and put you to work, and you went to work not even knowing what you were going to get paid.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? Is that really how that happened?
Exactly how that happened. And again, like I said, we haven't met Mr. Charles prior to it, but I mean, like I said, it sounded good on the phone at the time, but again, we didn't even know what sound good. We just wanted to go to Miami, and you know,
there's a better way to go to Miami.
And it is, and that's the thing. And now, you know, being a lot older, you know, of course we could have just booked a ticket and went, but that was a work opportunity where we can make money and enjoy at the same time. So on that handshake deal, now it's like when we deal with these companies, we done so they know what we go through on the job. It's been our first contract out here. We spent the night. We was doing a job at Kalana Shipyard. We spent the night on the job because we thought everything have to be done instantly. Come to find out, you know, now they have, you know, due dates and everything. The job that we done, I think they had maybe 65 days to knock the job out. We done that job in 13 days. We stayed on the job. We was working 18-hour days. We got pictures and video, everything from start to finish. We got video footage, pictures, and everything. We laid it all out because it's like this all we have. If we lose this, then you know we gonna do whatever it takes to get it done, and that's what we did. You know, so
you were sleeping in your truck.
We spent the night on the boat. We slept on the flight deck of the boat.
You didn't even leave the work site.
No, sir. And we took turns. We'll wake up, sun coming up. All right, we got to go back. Let's go. But we finished the job in record-breaking time, and these companies, everybody all, you know, they may be competitors in public, but they all eat lunch together. You know, it's a small industry when it comes to everybody knowing each other. And of course, you know, they talk, man, it's this company we never heard of. We gave them an opportunity to do a job. And of course, pennies on a dollar. If the job was worth.
Was it worth that effort?
I'd do it a million more times. Yes, sir.
You're getting repeat work because of that initial impression that you made.
Handshake deals is probably what we live off of right now, handshake deals.
So the Navy needs a ship overhauled. It goes to one of the private yards, or goes into a public yard, and there's an overall contract winner for that.
Yes, sir.
But they hire a lot of other people to come in and do the work. No shipyard has 100% of the capacity, right?
No, sir.
So that's the prime contractor that won the overall deal, and then they hire out a bunch of other companies like you to come in and do that work.
Like I said, us being a young, small company, we have the respect of they know we can do the job. There's no doubt about it. They know Faithful will do the job. The job will get completed in a timely fashion, faster than the due date. Now, on our end, how we have people that we recruit, that we go out, we get guys, and we like to deal with a lot of people who already been in the industry. Well, when we started off, we get a lot of the guys, older heads who more experienced, because you can't coach 30 years experience. You know, if you've done some 30 years, you done it thousands of times, you know, versus our 2 to 3 times, you know, every shortcut way it is, you know, and we bring other people in, however many people it takes to complete the job. We do like you know, at one time we was getting random guys off the street, you know, for hey, got an opportunity for you. And it cleaned a lot of them up who had drug and alcohol problems. We don't have a problem dealing with those guys because them the people that's closest to us. You know, the guys in the office and everything, you know, who deal with the numbers and everything, recruiting wise, they not going out there. You know, we grew up around a lot of that stuff. My man, you know, my daddy, you know, he had us in a decent community and everything, but, you know, we still had a lot of stuff, you know, surrounding us in that aspect. So on the recruiting side, we can bring anybody to the business with ease, you know, unlimited amount of people because we can reach those guys. And they looking at us like, man, I've been trying to, you know, I would like to have a job or I wanted to work, you know, but they won't give me an opportunity because this is my condition. My daddy, you know, come in, talk, you know, we deal with them. We treat everybody like family. You know, what we do is what we know how to do. It's all we know, which is work. Money come if you work. Eventually, somebody gonna look at you and say, "Oh, that's a diamond in the rough." But let me focus on them and invest in them. But eventually, when that time hit, you know, we got a whole army of people that couldn't be reached by a recruiter that had an ad up on Indeed for 2 years. You know, because we already built that relationship with them, and that word faithful rings through any one of their head, and it's embedded in their heart. Because those guys looked out for me when I didn't have anything, when I was rock bottom, and they gave me an opportunity when nobody else wouldn't.
You know, we're doing this for the Hampton Roads Workforce Council.
Yes, sir.
Because everybody's talking about we don't have the workforce that we need to do the work that's there in front of us. So when you talk about being able to reach people that don't have a perfect record, they've had struggles before, on the job, off the job. There's some great places to work here, but some of those people can't get in the gate there because of what they've had before. You're saying you're giving them an opportunity as a smaller subcontractor that you can work with them, and you've been successful giving somebody a second or third chance to come back to the workforce.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And a lot of these major entities go about it the wrong way. Everybody can't read and write. Everybody can't express themselves through an interview. Sometimes you have to take the small things. You know, we study people. Everybody have struggles. A lot of people choose not to speak on them. But if you honest and open, you know, with individuals, they're gonna be honest and open with you. And you have some of the best in the business out here on the streets. You know, if you have an individual right here who can weld with his eyes closed, this one can weld in a coma, but the ads say we need a pipe welder and a structural welder or a blaster and painter or whatever, but this guy, he can't read and write, and this guy right here have a record. Both of them, you know, are two candidates that can't even be submitted because one can't read and write for, you know, just to even be computer literate, and the other one, oh, well, I can't get in that yard anyway.
You brought up some really hard truths that need to get faced, that need to get faced, right? So there's a lot of people, not just in this industry, but just everywhere, that are one check away from personal disaster.
Yes, sir.
But you talked about a way that you get to know those people, or you see something in them to give them another opportunity, right? Recognizing that they've got a lot of experience, and if they're given the opportunity, they can start to rebuild their life.
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of risk on you, the employer.
Yes, sir.
You're a young man, and you're talking about a lot of people in that category that are older than you. And that takes a lot of faith on both sides, but an awful lot on the employer to say, I'm going to take a risk and bring somebody in that's had a problem before.
Yes, sir.
How do you manage that?
Well, first thing, age don't bring wisdom. You know, we figure, oh, well, this person been in the business 30, 40 years, they know it all. I mean, not necessarily, they may know what it takes, you know, but then if you mix young, middle-aged, and old talent together, you're gonna build an empire, because now you got the experience saying this is the blueprint. This is how we built this. This is how it was created. You got middle-aged, young, and, you know, that's saying, okay, let's tweak it like this, you know. Then you got the young who's strong, just ready. But now you add, you know, fault. You add mistakes. You know, think about stuff we all done at 16 that we didn't get caught doing, you know? So with all these different scenarios, you just tie them in together and just say, let's just start a clean slate. You have a issue, so what? We got a rehab program. If you are part of our association, you're a part of our company, whether it's shipyard or a subcontractor, we want to help you, because if we help you, you help us. So if we come in, each one teach one, and everybody work together to build one another up. Every time, if you walk past 100 people that's sitting down, and they fail, and you just walk past everybody, who have you helped? But if you pull a man up, and then by the time you get to that fifth man, you tired. But them 5 guys you pull, you helped up, they help up another 5, and another 5, and so on and so on. We'll repair and rebuild this whole industry, and and bring it back to where it can be, or matter of fact, and see new highs of potentials that nobody ever even imagined. So that'll be other countries reaching out to say, man, the U.S. is strong. Man, this is bigger than Huntington Ingalls. This is bigger than Newport News or Pascagoula or Virginia. This is bigger than all of that. But it can start right here. And if we build just this industry up, overall, you building up character, you building up self-esteem, and the most important thing, you increasing everybody's faith, because now I'm somebody. You making people who lost it all and feel like they have nothing to lose, and now they gain that confidence in themselves to say, I'm somebody. I'm faithful. I will be faithful to this organization. I'll be faithful to that. And not only that, when you teaching them all this different character and everything, they'll turn around and help a stranger themselves. And this whole community, everything will be built back up.
Is that pride in doing a good job and learning and possessing a skill, right? The pride in work.
That all will follow. You could bring a nobody in. When I say a nobody, you can open these trade schools back up, and these young people, you can ask the average, and especially in the African American community, you ask the average, between the ages of 8 to 16, what you want to be after high school. They didn't know. I didn't know. Only thing I used to say, well, I want to work like my daddy. That's all I knew. Of course, my parents, they did everything they could to explain and express to us the importance of education. But if their parents didn't teach them, how did they know? They did the best they could, and I ended up graduating from college. But again, from college side to the workforce side, college teaches you a lot of definitions. It teaches you the importance of networking. But I have buddies of mine who went straight into the workforce after high school, and I ended up being, and then working for them. They was my supervisor. So, like I say, going back to, we need to reconstruct this whole business and open up trade schools, and not even trade schools, but if we repair right there, and these companies, Ingalls and everything, okay, open up night school to teach and and help people understand the importance of finance. Okay, if you make $500 a week, automatically train your mind to say, it's not 500, it's 350, because automatically 50 of it go to your savings. 50 of it go to your whatever, your 401k or whatever investment, pension, whatever you have, and start training people coming in.
You are talking about so much stuff that I think a lot of people, some people get it from their parents. They got high school classes now to teach about basic life skills, but you're really, by the time you're in the workforce, if you don't know those things,
it's too late.
It's too late.
You already you get that first check, you're gonna get a car. You're gonna upgrade and get you a nicer apartment or whatever, because now you feel like you're making it. Your well ain't gonna never run dry. And you start off in the shipyard, coming in, and whether you come in as an apprentice or whatever, and you adapt those bad habits of spending because, I'm gonna make it again. Then we don't plan for layoffs. We don't plan for a slow period. And then now that 60-hour check get cut to 40 hours. That 40 hours get cut to a layoff. And you sitting here one check away. And now what you're gonna do, you gotta still keep up that whatever that they have rent, if they have mortgage, you gotta keep those that state of living up. And then now you out here scrambling. Then you got guys who gonna go the opposite way and start scheming. Then they end up getting in trouble, get a record at a young age, 19, 20, and now they got a record. Now they can't even go back into the workforce. So that's another person that could have been a great blaster, a great painter, a great welder, a great whatever, And so we losing people through to just simple coaching skills that we can all chip in and teach. Everybody ain't gonna listen, but if you at least offer it, if you got 10 people and 3 of them, now you got 30%. 30%. So on 100, you got 30 people. On 1,000, you got 300. Those numbers still gonna change drastically and make a difference, whereas everybody just mess up at one time and now you don't have nobody.
You said something a couple minutes ago. I think you said each one teach one.
Each one teach one.
Is that your philosophy here?
It is today. Each one teach one. Yes, sir.
So that's how you're transferring those skills to hopefully help people avoid some of those mistakes. Because like you said, there's a lot of us out there that did things and didn't get caught.
Yes, sir.
That 30 years ago, 40 years ago, probably never would have gotten caught.
Right.
But now with social media and all those other things, some of those mistakes you have to make growing up end up somehow being unforgivable, or worse, they follow you forever.
Yes, sir.
They can follow you forever.
Right.
Or people can think that they follow you forever.
Right.
But maybe you're not knocking on the right doors, because
Yes,
what
sir.
you're saying is you know who those people are and you're able to see through some of that and give them another chance to start over again, to get back into the workforce. And then you're transferring all these other life skills over to them that they weren't getting in the first place.
Yes, sir.
Don't spend every new dollar you get on something new. Save it for later.
Yes, sir.
Because that's how you talked about your parents literally taking their retirement money to invest in their kids on a hope of moving from Alabama to Virginia and, hey, let's start a business in a state we don't live in yet.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy.
Yes, sir.
It's not crazy. That comes from a lifetime of faith, making good decisions, raising good kids that take those good decisions and build on them. But man, it still comes back to that faith thing. You got to believe. You got to believe in the thing you can't see yet, and knowing that if you put the work in, if you invest in the people, if you trust them and train them, that they're gonna perform.
Yes, sir.
So that everybody benefits at the end of that.
The word faith is, you just don't wake up and have faith. It have to be an event that happened, or you have to see somebody, that encountered something, their back was against the wall, and at 11:59, before 12 o'clock, something came through for it to strike your attention to say, okay, if I sit here and I tell you, I say, hey, if you jump off this building, you can fly. And you may say, oh, well, no, I don't believe that. Okay, well, look, I tell you what, I give you, $100 to jump off the building and try to fly. No, I don't want to take that chance. But if I sit here and I say, I want you to come out here and watch this. You stand here and I jump off this building and you see me levitating and I'm just flying around, you're going to say, whoa, you're going to be shocked at first. And once everything, it all come down, you're going to be like, okay, well, hold on. If he can do it, I believe I can do it. Now you believe in yourself. Now you turning it around, like each one teach one. You pushing somebody else. You pushing your son. You pushing your daughter. You pushing your grandkids. You want to be the best at everything that you do. Not even to compete with everybody. We all, compete, whether we believe it or not. Oh, how yours look? Oh, okay, that's pretty good, bro. Oh, now I got to work a little harder. That's how my brothers and all us, my daddy told us, hey, yo, there's nothing wrong with competing. It keeps everybody on edge, so none of us get complacent. Oh, well, he better than me anyway, so I'm just going, whatever. No, he better than me. I want to see what he do to be as good as he is. And I'm going to take what he do and apply it to myself and put my own little spin on it, and that's going to make me a better blaster. And now he looking at me like, oh, he done got better than me. Now I got to step my game up. So that's going to keep our quality, it's going to keep it like this. Instead of faithful completing a job, oh, it was good. Then the second job, oh, it was all right. The third job, oh, it's getting a little worse. Hey, look, y'all got to tighten up, or we're going to use a different company. So that keeps us even across the board. So that competing is always a honest compete. Not you don't want to, hey, man, he tell the supervisor he's not doing what he's supposed to do and try to get somebody fired. But again, and all the time back to family, unity. Hey, man, look, I may have more experience than you. Look, try this, try that. What you're doing is working, but eventually you're going to run into these problems. Each one teach one. And then I may have a issue, later on where it's something I struggle with, because nobody perfect. And this guy may be great at it. he come in, hey, well, hey, I got it, you know, and he repay me. So that's how we apply life to the shipyard.
Tell me what you enjoy about this work, about this industry, that is going to be appealing to somebody that's thinking of joining or coming back to work in this industry.
It's a simple way to provide and take care of your family. It's so much growth to it. Anybody can do it. You know, it's a position for everybody. Everybody can't do everything. You can do anything you want. You can do anything you put your mind to do. But it's a position for everybody. Whether you choose to just do general labor, clean, sandblast, paint, weld, it's a position for everybody, and it's longevity. Everybody not built for college. Everybody not built for the schooling system, you know. So, I mean, everybody can't just sit still in the class. But if you just got a mind to want to work, make an honest living, don't have to watch your back, it's a great industry, good money, great career. It's a career. So, you know, if everybody don't have a mind to want to go to the military, or we were scared of the military, you know, we thought, oh, the military, you're going to go get killed. You know, that's what we thought. That's our mindset of it. And, but again, the shipyard is a great career for anybody to come in and, you know, who's willing to work and learn.
I want to thank you for your time today. This was a great discussion. You brought up so many great things. I love that each one teach one.
Yes, sir.
And I know that's probably your mantra, but I hope a lot of other people adopt that too, because I think you're on to something there. I think you have figured out what it's going to take to bring people back into this industry and continue to grow it. And it's a great mindset.
I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
time.